Welcome to the show. I'm Craig Shelton. This is the Cutt right here on UTN, and we are in studio today over at the Houston Media Source, doing our thing, having a little fun, and we will talk sports with you as we do here every Sunday night from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and Wednesday nights from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Joining me tonight on the show, as usual, my man Richard Walker from HMW. His initial journey on the Cutt is my man Sean Garza. Sean was one of the original guys when we first launched the Houston Media Watch website. Also joining us in studio, Will Lyles. That's right, the incredible, creepy one himself. Will Lyles joins us in studio, talking a little sports. And my main man, Fred Boyer, from 97.5 ESPN Yahoo Radio, right here in Houston, Texas. And a collective hello to everybody. How you guys doing tonight?
How's it going?
Sportastic. Sportsy, that's Fred's calling card over at ESPN. Look, we're going to get it started off with some NBA talk with you today, and we're going to jump to the social media scene right out of the gate, because we always encourage you folks to talk to us on the social media. You can follow me at Craig Shelton HMW, and you will see the Twitter handles and Facebook handles for all of these guys displayed right there on the screen for you as we go throughout the show tonight. So what I want to get started with, fellas, is I saw on Facebook, I was just doing a little cruising around, checking some things out, and it's always kind of interesting with so much that has been going on lately in the media, obviously with the story surrounding the George Zimmerman verdict in the Trayvon Martin story, and which is something that we will touch on in the second half of the show relative to comments made by NBA All-Star player Charles Barkley, of course retired Hall of Famer and broadcaster. Charles has some interesting takes that we'll discuss here on the show tonight. But I was on Facebook just kind of looking for a release and trying to, I'm like, my God, isn't someone talking about anything on the social media other than George Zimmerman? So I see this post on Facebook that says, and I'll read it to you. Talks a little bit about Kobe Bryant and the prospects of Kobe Bryant possibly playing after the 2013 season with LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony, who obviously both guys will be a part of that 2014 NBA free agent pool, assuming both guys opt out of their contracts. Of course, Carmelo with the Knicks and LeBron James with the Heat. Personally, I don't think either guy's going anywhere. Let me say that right away. I don't think LeBron James is going to leave Miami, and if he does leave Miami, I would expect him maybe to consider Cleveland. I don't see any reason why LeBron James would want to play in LA when he could really, really cap off his career by going back home to Cleveland and maybe kind of cleaning up some of those bad feelings where he was just excoriated by everyone there and most of the media once he left Cleveland for Miami. I don't think either guy is leaving. I think Carmelo is a New York guy, and I expect New York to try to build around Carmelo. That said, before I get deep into what was said on Facebook about it, we'll go around the room and just kind of see what you guys think about it. Let's go ahead and start across the room. Richard, and let me ask you specifically, who would be the most likely guy, if either were to make a move, who would be the most likely guy, not necessarily to go to LA and play with Kobe, but is LeBron more likely to leave Miami or is Carmelo more likely, in your view, to leave New York?
No, I think of the two, I think Carmelo's the one that's more likely because why would you leave? First of all, you got a dynasty in Miami. I still think if they're at least at minimum they're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. If they don't win a championship again this year, you still got a strong core. Of course, you got Pat Riley. You got a great fan base there in Miami. Kind of what you said earlier. I think if he were to leave Miami, he doesn't want to go and be in the shadow of another superstar because Kobe's shadow is still over LA. He's not going to do that. If anything, he's going to go back home to Cleveland. So I think of the two, Carmelo's the one that's more likely to leave. And then you don't have a great franchise right now in New York. They're working on some things. They're kind of in the same bucket that LA is in terms of trying to put the pieces back together. So I think if he was to take a chance to go to another franchise, of those two guys, I think Carmelo would be the one that'd be more likely to leave.
And I would think that Carmelo would be the least likely of the two to leave, in my opinion, because I think he's playing. He has his dream job, in my opinion.
He doesn't have a ring, though.
No, but he has a dream job, and Carmelo has the ego. Carmelo Anthony probably believes he's the best player in the NBA. Sean Garza, your thoughts in this regard? Kobe Bryant is going to make $30 million next season. To me, that's one of the biggest reasons why this just doesn't make any kind of sense, because Kobe Bryant has already told the Lakers, Laker Nation, that he has no intent of taking less money. In fact, he went as far as to say he intends to get as much money as he can get. So is there a component of just ridiculous fodder with this, or do you actually think there's some type of way that those guys can actually end up playing with each other because within the parameters of the financial realities of it? Only that part.
I really don't see that happening. I don't see them leaving, first off, like you mentioned before. I think for Kobe, it's just all talk for Kobe. I believe that for Kobe, it's merely just, hey, I'm going to take what I can get and this and that. But I think ultimately what's going to happen is that I think LeBron will end up leaving Miami and going to Los Angeles.
Really?
Yes, sir.
You believe that?
Yes, sir.
Fred, so let's piggyback off of what Sean said. Whether you agree with that or not, could that work? Could you put two natural, well, LeBron is not a natural anything except basketball player, but Kobe's definitely a natural too. Could that work on the floor in terms of basketball X and O's? How do you play LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Kobe Bryant on the floor together? I mean, how does that work? You're going to be very small up front.
Yeah, but you've also got the best player in the game in LeBron James, a guy who can play several different positions, a guy who plays point sometimes for Miami. You have him handle the ball. To me, I don't care if you can't quite make the parts mesh. If you have great players, put great players together. Having said that, I see 0% chance of this happening. This story came out this week from the LA media. Oh, they're going to clear all this cap space and they'll have one contract. This is the same LA media that was reporting hours after Dwight Howard was coming to Houston that it was still 50-50. These guys need to let go. These aren't Jerry Buss's Lakers anymore. Jerry's dead. They got the idiot son running it now. This isn't the same franchise, and they can't treat it the same way. And they're not going to be the franchise that everybody wants to play for until they get Phil Jackson back in there.
To be specific, Kobe Bryant said, for me to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm just going to take a huge pay cut, nah. I'm not going to try, and to say that I'm not going to try and get as much as I can, I'm not taking any at all. That's the negotiation you have to have. I have to say that part of the quote. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. Really, be honest with you. LeBron James will allow. LeBron James has said, this is what I came here for, so that would be the ultimate. But you can never say never. And when he said, that's what I came here for, that would be the ultimate, he was speaking in terms of winning a championship and building a dynasty, to clarify how the question was asked to him in regard to what he said. But he went on to say, I don't know, life changes, things happen, and we have to be prepared for that. I thought Dwight Howard was supposed to be the waffler. What do you think about those comments from LeBron James? Should LeBron just go ahead, especially after everything that went on in Cleveland, should he go ahead and just and just kind of kill that and say, I'm not leaving here?
You know, I don't feel that LeBron has this like sense of entitlement to Cleveland. He feels like he should bring them a championship. I feel that in his mind.
When did he determine that? When he went to Miami and won back-to-back titles?
Now, I felt that he said that he felt that way because when he left Cleveland, the way the fans reacted, the way the people reacted, he was like Cleveland's son. So I feel that he feels like he can go back there and take them to the championship with the pieces that they have around Cleveland. He has a better chance of doing that in Cleveland than he does in Miami at this point.
Well, Ramon Durham on Facebook, he commented on this in my opinion, ridiculous scenario. I just don't think LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Kobe Bryant would exist in a locker. There's so many reasons why this doesn't make sense. Money. Carmelo has his dream job that he went out. Let's not forget, just a couple years ago, Carmelo Anthony went out of his way to get to New York. I just don't believe that Carmelo Anthony is leaving New York. And if LeBron James was to make himself available to another franchise, I would have to believe Sean Garza, because you're the guy that thinks that LeBron James will play for the Lakers. I just have to believe that he would go to Cleveland, go back to Cleveland, because one thing about today's NBA, NFL, today's sports world, with social media and just the world we live in now, you don't have to be in New York. You don't have to be in LA to be the big dog, to get the big money, to get the sponsorships. Guess what? If Dwight Howard plays well in Houston and the Rockets win a championship, before he became the bad guy in the media, remember how outgoing that personality was with Dwight Howard, how cool, how fun-loving people thought he was, always smiling. And then all of a sudden it became, his smile means that he's not into it enough. You can't be a happy guy and win championships. That's interesting, because we all know Hakeem Olajuwon never smiled, right? That's ridiculous. Ramon Durham on Facebook said that team would never have enough balls to go around. Melo will never leave New York. It's his home. He left a damn good playoff team in Denver to go to a lesser New York team. And even if LeBron does take a back seat to Kobe, Kobe will never take one to his ego. Fred?
Well, I think that's part of it, but you know what? If you could put those guys together, I would do it in a heartbeat, because I'll take those three and I'll beat any other five guys you want. Just give me the best players. But to his point, we also got to realize Kobe isn't Kobe anymore. And he's coming off a devastating injury, and I don't know what kind of player you're going to get when he comes back. And I certainly don't know how effective he's going to be. He's an old 34, and
a lot of playoff games, seasons,
and Olympics and everything else, and that wears on you over time. And he was fantastic last year, but boy, I worry about an injury like that affecting him. And I don't know. That would be my real concern about the Lakers going forward. Is Kobe ever going to be Kobe again?
No doubt about it, folks. That's the first segment. We're gonna jump out, run, pay a couple bills, and when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about the NBA. We'll do some NFL, and we'll talk about Charles Barkley's comments about the Zimmerman trial verdict right here on The Cut with Craig Shelton.